G'day golfers and welcome to the channel. Well, how would you like to learn how to hit the ball more cleanly, hit the ball further, be able to get out of those tight lies and the rough more easily, and compress the ball better? Well, of course, we're talking about lag. And if we can improve lag, improve the wrist angles and the shaft angles and the angle of approach into the golf ball, then those shots off the turf just become so much easier. So today's all about lag and the role of the trail arm. Welcome to Aussie Golf Pros. So firstly, what is lag? Well, lag is the amount of hinge you can maintain in the downswing so that when you actually do release the club, you're actually compressing the golf ball and you're hitting the grass after the golf ball. The trick is here that we can't force it. So golfers, they see the tour pros generate all of this lag, they've got all this hinge and they're going right down to here before they then release the club. And then golfers try to force it, trying to recreate those positions, and it just doesn't work because the club golfer sort of tries to force it, actually hold off that position with the wrist, so that creates more tension in the swing, and that's actually counterproductive. And what actually happens is a lot of golfers cast, so they're releasing way too early, or they might even get down to here and then release too early. So all of that energy, that wonderful energy that's stored in the backswing, is expended too early and we get this scoop motion. So typically many golfers just pick the ball off of the turf. They don't really take a divot, and if they do take a divot then it's before the golf ball. And they might hit some good shots if the lie is perfect, but if the ball's sitting down a little or if they're in the rough, then typically there's a bit of a miss hit. So it's either thin or heavy. And trying to be consistent with your ball striking and your distance control is very, very difficult. So how do we improve it? Clearly we need to come up with a strategy that's a little bit different than just holding on. The other thing that happens is if a player does manage to hold on, they just leave the club face open. So the release doesn't really happen properly and the ball goes out to the open side, big slice, so to the right for the right-hander and to the left for the left-hander. Now, I mentioned the trail arm in our intro, and that's really important because what we see with early releases is that the trail arm gets on top of the lead arm. So the shoulder, the trail shoulder, internally rotates, comes over the top there a little bit. They might still manage a draw, but it's all released too early. And this arm gets rotated inwards. This elbow, the trail elbow, is on top of the lead elbow, and that's a real power loss. So the trail arm, think skipping stones across a pond. Now if you pick up a golf ball or a flat stone or something like that and try to skim a stone across a pond, what's going to happen here is that your elbow, your trail elbow, is going to get in front of the stone or the ball. And that's the motion that we want to feel like's happening in the golf swing. If we get to here, and a lot of us do this naturally, if we've learned to skim stones across a pond, very similar to the modern tennis forehand or a lot of other sports. Getting the elbow there, so you've externally rotated the shoulder and get into this position, that's the motion that we want through impact to generate lag. Really, really key. So have a look at your setup, have a look at where the crease of your elbow is actually pointing. If your crease of the elbow is pointing towards the target, and that means that your shoulder, your trail shoulder, is internally rotated, then you're going to be in a very weak position and lag is going to be very difficult for you. So what I want you to do with that trail elbow, if you want to improve your lag, you need some more club head speed, you need better compression through impact. I want you to get your trail elbow and point it perpendicular to the target, so this way. Tuck it in, it can be a little bit bent here. Turn it inwards so the crook of my elbow is pointing towards you. It's pointing perpendicular to my target. What that means is a lot easier to get into this skimming stones motion that we want. And then obviously that's going to translate into, well, look at that. Suddenly I've got lag through the shot. So it's all about getting this right shoulder externally, right for a right-hander, left for a left-hander, this trail shoulder externally rotated, tucking this elbow in here, and then having a few swings. Now, it's easy for me. This isn't going to happen straight away. I've been playing golf for a long time. I learnt how to lag before I even remember and knew what it was. It's also a function of good swing mechanics, transferring the weight, turning better. There are a lot of different factors. Being soft and relaxed in the hands and wrists is also a really key factor to generating lag. As I said earlier, you can't force it. You can't hang on and be effective through impact. It just doesn't work. So there are a couple of really effective drills that I help clients get through to get a feeling of using the wrists a little bit more effectively and generating a little bit more lag. So let's go through them. Two of my favorite ones. First one is just hitting a shot just with the wrists. So there's no arm action whatsoever. You can see here that the hands are pretty much just in front of my thighs here. And actually I've just got an 8-iron here. So it's quite actually difficult to strike the golf ball, but have a go, just the wrists. And you can see there it's quite challenging to hit it. What we're doing here is just activating the wrists. We want that player to be used to actually just releasing at this impact point. So it's a simple little drill, and that only went 20, 25 meters. And that's just going to activate those wrists. We want them mobile, we want them relaxed, and we want to be able to hinge and then release through impact. Just get these wrists a little bit more active. Now the next drill that we're going to do is we're going to turn the club upside down. I've used this before just to help players with some speed. Hold the shaft, not the club head. Just going to hold the shaft in your normal grip position there. Now what this does is it takes all the tension away. There's no weight, there's no grip, it's very skinny, gets the club really in the fingers, and I want you to have a swing and whoosh. You're going to listen to that whoosh and you're going to see if you can improve it. I want you to swing above the grass. I don't want you breaking your club. You can snap the end of a shaft, especially if you've got a graphite, so keep it above the ground here, 20 centimeters or so, very loose and relaxed, and then really whoosh it. And what you'll find is, because there's no weight there, you can really teach yourself some speed, but listen to when the whoosh is. So if I whoosh a bit early, then that's that release pattern that's too early, and you're going to get this shaft position at impact that's backwards because it's all released too early here. Very ineffective. So listen to when the sound is. We want it in this area just after impact. So that means that I'm lagging, and the shaft angle is going to be slightly forward at impact, and we're going to hear that sound, a snappy, compressed, fast sound, just in that impact to just after impact area. Do a few of them. And what you'll start to get the feeling of that skimming stones across the pond, feeling of snapping those wrists and getting a good amount of clubhead speed at the right time, which is where the ball is. All right, so we've put a couple of drills in place there. Setup is really key. We're going to tuck that elbow in so that the crook of the elbow, the trail elbow, is pointing perpendicular to the target. And we'll hit a shot. So our goal here really is to have the shaft at impact slightly ahead of the club head. So a little bit of lean forward. If you're casting or releasing too early, then the shaft is going to be back here. So I'm going to start with the shaft just ahead. Doesn't have to be miles ahead, but just ahead of the golf ball. Tucking that trail elbow in. Nice and relaxed and mobile with those wrists. A good little couple of waggles is a good idea as well. And now we'll slow it down and have a look at that lag there. Remember, I'm not forcing that position into the downswing. I'm being very relaxed, quite wristy and mobile. And we can generate that lag through the shot. Now, what's really key here is this is the same, doesn't matter what club you're hitting off of the turf. You can be hitting a short iron, a mid iron, a long iron, or a 3-wood. It's exactly the same principle. We're not changing anything. We still want to be mobile in the wrists. We still want to get that skimming stones motion, tucking that trail elbow in and really using a lot of wrist action through the shot. Let's try it with a little bit longer club. So that was an 8. Let's hit it with the 6. Same principle. And you can see there that my divot was clearly just after the golf ball. I've got that compression. I'm not actively trying to hit down on the golf ball, but because of the wrist angles and because of the lag, then it's very easy for me to hit the grass after the golf ball, give myself that margin of error. If things go slightly awry, I'm still going to get a decent shot out of it. Whereas the player that releases too early and gets the shaft leaning backwards has to be very, very precise with their ball striking and is often going to hit the ball thin or heavy. Thanks for watching right through to the end. You need to be patient with this. This isn't something that you can just learn and forget about. It's something that's going to take some time to develop. As your swing develops, as your mechanics improve, there are lots of different factors involved. But the main thing that you need to do is leave the muscles at home. This isn't something you can force. You need to learn how to relax the hands and the wrists and be patient with the release, waiting for the shot a little bit more. A lot of golfers are in a hurry. And look, we've all been there. We've all snatched at the shot and released too early. And typically it's when we're under a little bit of pressure or a bit more tension. Relax, let the swing build, let the momentum of your swing build, and you will learn to generate your maximum speed at a better spot, which is at to just after the golf ball. But it is going to take some time. It's not something you're going to pick up straight away. It's one of the toughest things that we find our clients trying to achieve is to improve lag and to be more patient with that speed. So good luck with it, and let us know how you get on. Pop your comments below. If you like the video, then please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, then we'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that button and the little bell in the corner for notifications. We'll be back next week with another great video to help you with your game. Are you the best golfer you can be?